Hello, it's Duncan Nisbet, the roving reporter for Let's Test, here today with Lou Perold. Hi Lou, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Duncan?
Very good, very good. Enjoying the start of spring here, which is nice. How about yourself?
Yeah, still enjoying summer over here, so
Good.
nice here too.
I'm glad to hear it. Cool, and where's here for you at the moment?
Here is Joburg, in South Africa.
Lovely.
And yeah, it's been a nice thunderstorm, rainy afternoon, but other than that, lots of sun. So.
Excellent, so that will clear for a lovely evening, will it?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we're not here to talk about the weather, we're here to talk about you. And let's test, so let's get on with it.
Cool.
So yeah, you've been testing the financial industry for 12 years. I bet you've seen some interesting changes and experiences in that 12 years.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm getting old. It's actually almost 14 now, or pretty much 14.
Right.
And yeah, I think there's a lot of things that have stayed the same, but then there does seem to be some things that are changing. The big flavor of the month at the moment is agile, of course, as I think it is everywhere. So lots of people trying to really think about how they're delivering value and whether there's better, different ways to do it than massive projects that we saw in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of that kind of move.
So what does that look like for you? So are you seeing a kind of more customer-driven, customer-focused work, smaller chunks of work, or?
Definitely smaller chunks, and the nice thing about it, I think, is well, in our space, traditionally, a lot of banks had very separate test teams to the rest of the team. So you had a business analysis team and a development team, and then a testing team. And although we still have some of that, like, kind of separate teamism, we're sitting all together at the bank I'm currently at and working a lot closer and collaborating a lot more. So it has, and delivering much smaller chunks. So yeah, that has changed. And I think through that we've changed our approach in terms of us being at the end of the pipe, as it were, to kind of being involved from the beginning and trying to have the right conversations and really be that feedback loop that makes things more efficient and more effective.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's all about feedback, isn't it? It's just like whatever practices you do, if you're giving the faster feedback, it can only add value to the project.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic. So you say you're not embedded with the teams, but you're a lot closer, is that right?
Yeah, we kind of, it's a little bit in the space I'm in right now, which is I'm at a merchant bank and I'm in the financial the financial area. So we are like seen as kind of a functional area versus a trading area in the bank.
Okay.
And we deal with project work, we deal with upstream changes that come down to us in the GL, we deal with releases every 2 weeks. So we have a wide variety of work that we get involved in. And each of those interactions is kind of a little bit different. So maybe on a project, we might be dealing with a team where we're, I would say, more of an embedded kind of to that team.
Okay.
And then there's other pieces of work where we might be on the sides of different teams, but trying to get involved up front and trying to get the right coverage and requirements from the upstream changes that we test. So there's quite a variety in what we do.
That sounds like, is it more interesting than you've had previously?
It's great, actually. Yeah, a lot of variety, which I think makes things very interesting. And because we also have a warehouse and we're testing a ledger, there's a lot of quite technical type of work to what we're doing. So there's a lot of, we don't have many applications that actually have front ends. A lot of it is really database and data-driven kind of testing. So,
oh wow,
yeah, so we're getting involved really at that level, I guess.
Fantastic. So I guess the automation triangle or the automation pyramid doesn't really work for you.
Yeah, so our approach to automation is really, we try and see what is the problem. Do we have a problem in terms of us being not really efficient or effective at something? And then we look at ways to try and solve the problem. So because we're dealing with so much data, we've actually created our own tools that give us insights into that data very quickly. So we have a VBA tool, for example, that runs in Excel, and it goes off and executes a whole lot of database queries for us and then presents the results in Excel for us to easily see, okay, what happened with a particular batch or data set that we processed through our entire application landscape. So we can very quickly see if we process a set of production data or a specific set of test data, what happened to that data as it traveled through our application, and then we can dig deeper and troubleshoot specific problems as we see them on that little dashboard kind of. So we've really tried to make our automation help us to be more effective at testing, really, rather than any other kind of approach.
Oh, brilliant. So this is where you're using in automation to augment your testing rather than just like checking, as it were.
Absolutely.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds like a case study in there.
Yeah, it's probably a whole other conference topic.
Just to say, a good experience report I'd be interested in, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, brilliant. And so you're talking at Let's Test. You're doing a session on non-violent communication.
I am, yes.
Yeah. So talk to us a bit. How did you come across non-violent communication?
So at the bank, I came across this group of really cool people that get together every Thursday and learn about a new and interesting topic that may or may not be related to software development.
Nice.
And one of the guys is a guy called Donnie Roo. He's a consultant that is working at the bank at the moment, consulting on continuous improvement, kind of helping with some of the agile, I guess, transformation that they're undergoing.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced us to this whole nonviolent communication thing. And we started out just by watching some of the Marshall Rosenberg videos that are on YouTube. Highly recommend those, actually.
Could you send us over one of those, and we'll add it to this talk.
I will do that.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and initially it's a very difficult, although it makes a whole lot of sense. It's quite a difficult concept to wrap your head around.
Okay.
And even more difficult, I think, to put into practice. So I was kind of fascinated by its possibilities, and also how difficult it is. So I've actually ended up watching that series of videos probably 4 times and still don't feel like I really have it down by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
So I guess part of the reason I want to have the workshop is just even to grow my own learning on the subject and hopefully share it with some people and get their insights. So that's really where it kind of came from. And I think there's so many applications. Obviously, being testers, we constantly in these difficult positions, and I think sometimes it feels like we're just fighting all the time.
Yeah.
So something like nonviolent communication, I think, is potentially a way for us to have much more constructive and just not to feel like it has to be a fight. There's always a need, and we can make requests, and honestly, people are actually just wanting to address that need. Basically all the time. So it's just how you say things has a huge impact on on its effects. So yeah, that's kind of easy for me. Yeah.
So for non-violent communication suggests that there is violent communication. Does he define violent communication? Can you give us an idea what violent communication is and how we avoid it? Have you got anything in a nutshell?
Yeah. So the kind of premise behind it is he talks of giraffe language and jackal language.
Okay.
And the fact that a lot of the way we communicate comes from the fact that we've almost, as an entire society, as an entire world, we've grown up with this we have preconceived ideas about people, and we judge things all the time without really having an understanding of what's going on. So we make an immediate judgment about something, and then our communication is kind of flowing from that judgment. And what he's saying is observe something purely from an observational point of view, so not attaching all your biases to that observation.
Mm-hmm.
Try and get in touch with the feeling that you have about it, and then express a need in the form of a request. Make a request. Understand what the need is and make a request. And that's kind of and there's a whole lot behind that. Obviously, it's kind of a lot deeper and quite difficult to get into in a very short space of time. But it's taking that judgment out of communication, and really assuming really that people are awesome in all ways, always.
Yes.
Is the way Donnie puts it. And if you come from that mindset, you'll often find that there's much more of a meeting of things than what you may have thought.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It feels like it might overlap with some of Satir's work, the interaction model.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. I think there's a lot of overlap with that. Yeah.
Right. And was it Weinberg as well? The people are always trying to do good.
Absolutely.
If you start from that position, conversation is a lot easier to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, fascinating. I mean, sounds like you're being quite brave with the workshop.
Yeah. I won't lie, I'm quite petrified of how I'm going to actually get this. So at the moment I'm working through some workbooks that are actually that have been developed by Marshall himself, and then there's some other people that created workbooks. So I'm just trying to look for what would the right kind of exercises be, because it's quite a short period of time to kind of get across the concept and then have a little bit of practice. So I'll probably do some dry runs, and we'll see how those go, and then see what happens. Let's do
So for those people that are thinking maybe I would like to put forward a proposal for Let's Test, what kind of things are you doing to kind of prepare? So I know for me, I'm having a few dry runs with different groups of people at work at the moment, just to see how it goes and get feedback from them. The old classic safe to fail. What experiments are you trying?
Yeah, so it's very similar things. I'm also going to have some safe to fail experiments with some good friends first, and then maybe a slightly more hostile audience. We'll see. Although I think my friends are very good at giving me honest feedback, so that would be fine. I think having dry runs is a good thing, especially. So having dry runs when you're just doing a straightforward kind of experience report presentation is good just from a practice point of view.
Yeah.
I think in the workshop sense, obviously you're never going to get exactly the same thing happen, because things, the context is always different, and the people that you have in the room make a difference, and their preconceptions make a difference. But you might just come up with different ideas of presenting the information, or different ways to structure the workshop. And I think those things, it's good to kind of maybe just play around, I guess, is more is more the thing
Mm-hmm.
with the workshop. Just play around with a few different things and see what you feel might work best on the day.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
And I see you going for a fishbowl as well. How do you think the attendees of Let's Test are going to go for the fishbowl? It's quite an intense experience, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll see. We will. Yeah, that's I don't know. We might change that. I'm going to experiment with that, and we'll see how it goes. So I think just be ready for anything, I guess, is the it's going to be the disclaimer that goes along with my workshop.
Yeah. I say just reading this workshop again has got me thinking it's PSL next week, isn't it? So there'll be all the recruits will be heading over there.
Yeah, and they'll get some fishbowl experience.
They will get some fishbowl experience.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So is there anything else about your workshop you want to talk about? Is there anything we need to be prepared for?
No, I think, I think part of maybe the reason I was chosen is that certain people are very, very skeptical about nonviolent communication and therefore want to see, well, what the hell is this all about? Yeah, and I think so. If people can just come with an open mind, and I think it's certainly a different way of looking at communication. It's certainly something I'd never, although it makes so much sense, I'd never thought about it in this way. And so for me, it was quite a lightning bolt or light bulb or something to that effect. Yeah, that kind of changed the way I thought about it quite a lot.
And have you got any tips for the afternoon slump? Because I see you straight after lunch.
Oh no, I don't think there's going to be no slumping.
No slumping allowed.
I don't think there's danger of that.
Good work.
It's going to be interactive, so yeah.
Good. People come prepared.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. So then let's just talk about Let's Test for a bit, because you've been to some, I've been to some.
I've been to all.
I've been to
all the Sweden ones, yeah.
The Swedish ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I keep trying to get out to the other ones, but I can't make it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's a blast.
It is, and I think it's so, in so many ways is it a blast. It's a blast from the point of view that for me, obviously, I get to touch base with people that I've now known for sort of 8 years, going on 8 years now, through conferences, and so you get to see them and get re-inspired and re-energized. But it's also, meeting new people, making new connections, and just spending time with people that are equally passionate about testing. Is, I think, what makes it so special. And of course the food in Sweden is just ridiculous.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
As well as the lunchtime beer and the evening sessions.
That's it. It's just 4 days of just talking testing. It's just it just feels like a luxury.
It is.
I don't get to vent like that for the rest of the year, so I just kind of go like, oh, come and talk to me about testing.
Exactly. It's like our own private little geek fest of testing. I don't know. It's and we can safely do it and safely be safe with each other, having our vents and.
Yeah.
And I guess that's also part of it is sometimes you think your problems are unique or different or unsolvable, and then you have a whole bunch of people that have very similar across the world, have very similar problems, and maybe have some ideas, and that's really awesome.
Yeah. You touched an important bit there. It's such a safe environment, isn't it? You can.
Absolutely.
You can have your ideas and vent it out, and you won't get laughed. So that was one thing I thought, well, I'm going to keep my ideas to myself because I don't want to be humiliated. But actually, you end up saying it anyway. I don't know if it's the beer talking, but before you know it, you're having a really good discussion, and you've got some more avenues to go and try and solve your problems when you get back to the UK or back home.
Absolutely. And some inspiration and some,
Yeah, and obviously a whole load more reading.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah, fantastic. So just looking at the program, is it? Have you had a chance to have a look through it, see who else you're going to go and see?
It's tough. It's really tough to decide. This year, interestingly, my sister is also going to be talking.
I was going to say, are you going to call in on her or not? Heckle from the back.
Okay, so her and Martin Heine, which should be interesting.
Yeah.
And she's not a tester. She's an agile coach. But obviously has been listening to me venting for years. So has some perspective on testing. So that's going to be great. Looking forward to Tobias. Looking forward to, the program is just, it's inspiring just looking at the program.
Yeah. I see. Sometimes wish I didn't have so many tracks. Just like, it's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really tough to decide. And I think, at least there is opportunities, in between and at lunch, and then to kind of touch base with other people and hear what they saw and get their feedback on those other tracks.
Yes. Yep.
Which is also fun, So even sometimes if you weren't there, you get to get a perspective of what it was like.
That's it, yeah. And then obviously there's all the blogs that come out of it as well that are really helpful.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about while we're on the line?
So we had our first tasting Let's Test South Africa last year in Joburg.
How did that go?
It went great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think we're really trying to do a lot to build the testing community in South Africa and specifically in Joburg.
Right.
So we have a little meetup at the moment it's going to be every second Wednesday of the month. So if any testers from South Africa are listening or from Joburg are listening, please come along, please get involved. We'd love to see you there.
Fantastic.
We'll
throw a link up.
Come to Let's Test.
Of course, come to Let's Test.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll throw a link up on the YouTube page.
Awesome.
Have you got for that meetup? Yeah.
Yeah, I will send that through.
Fantastic. And are there any other plans to have Let's Test South Africa again?
Well, we may just be looking at a little something. So it's kind of kind of still in the very early planning stages at the moment. But it looks like we're in the very early planning stages. Let me put it that way. Brilliant.
Touch wood, hey?
Yeah, hopefully something a little slightly bigger. But yeah, looking at that.
So the experiment last year worked then?
I think so. We had some really good energy. We had some great lightning talks from local speakers, and of course a lot of my wonderful friends flew over and came to speak, which was amazing. So Carsten and Ben and Henrik and Rob Sabarin was here.
Yeah, so that was a good one.
Yeah, so really good.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, if you send over those links, and we'll put them up on the page.
I'll do that.
And then people can come and find you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Excellent, Lou. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in May.
Yay!
Yay. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Duncan. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.